Pokeguy's checking his options. And there they are for real, although we're not quite synced up yet. That or Pokeguy is slow off the mark. One or the other. But I'm sure we'll get that sync soon enough if it is not just Pokeguy being slow. And we have oh no, that's just the sync, yeah. So now we're all synced up. And they both just go for double A's as the name. As has been explained in previous races, you need to call basically everything important in the run by a one character name so that you don't lose time every time its name is displayed. So that includes the player, the rival, and all the significant Pokemon used in battle. There are a few options for the single character you can use without losing any time, but in this case they've just gone for the easy option.
Both of them go for the PC potion right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. The chances of dying to rival is pretty low, but very costly if it happens. And if you somehow die with the PC potion, then you're probably going on a highlight reel, so... Yeah, as Tekel mentions in the chat, you can already see that RPGodfather is losing time every time there's a screen transition. Because of those special colours loading in. It's unfortunate that it's a disadvantage on top of what is already a quite difficult proposition for him, but if anything, he should focus on getting as good a time as he can personally, just in case that comes into play in any kind of tiebreaker. And if he's solid enough and Pokeguy trips up enough, then you never know. So, there's some growling going on from Bulbasaur, though.
Did they both get Growl first turn, it looks like?
Certainly. Yeah, I think they both did.
Yeah. It's a bit unfortunate. It's going to make this fight fairly slow.
Yeah, RPG having a rough start to the fight. Pokeguy not too bad, although he's now down to doing 2 damage a turn, so it's not all that fast either. Pokeguy could have died there if he had been critical on that final turn. So he definitely wasn't playing it 100% safe, but in the end, logic wins out and he does not get the 10% critical. And lose about a minute or so if you happen to lose that fight. Pokeguy is on Game Boy Player and RPG is on either Super Game Boy or Pokemon Stadium. And unfortunately RPG actually managed to lose the rival fight. So... this could be trouble. It means he's going to start over from scratch. Of course, the race title will keep going, his comparison to Pokeguy will keep going, but he's restarting his splits just in case he PBs with this run, because there would be no point including that false start in it. It would still be a valid leaderboard time, but in the race he's already taken a big step back, unfortunately.
Surprised to see that he died there, seeing as he picked up the PC potion, but...
he must have just not used it. Well, maybe I wasn't paying enough attention to see, but yeah, chat seems to say that he might have died from 5 HP like I was saying Pokeguy could have. In any case, Pokeguy is having an alright start, it seems. I was kind of focused on RPG, so I didn't see if Pokeguy has managed to get experience yet, but his time seems acceptable, at least acceptable regardless, for a race.
I don't believe he got any encounters on the first trip through Route 1. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I don't think I saw him get any encounters. But I was kind of focused on RPG stream at the time.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes Pokeguy's time look a little worse if that's true. He still needs to kill an encounter no matter what. But at this point, normally you'll just take anything you run into on the second pass. Okay, no, he did get experience. He's got not full health. Unfortunate, because that's the ideal encounter to kill just there. Level 2 Rattata, in general, will do the least damage to you, and is the most likely encounter to kill in 2 turns instead of 3. So he could have waited, but in the end, 16 HP isn't really anything too dangerous. And if you wait, then you risk just not getting any encounters whatsoever on your second pass. So Pokeguy into the mart at 6:15ish. He won't be happy with this Nidoran time, but it's not going to be awful or anything, provided he hits the manipulation first try. And of course he's going to go for the standard quote-unquote pro strats manipulation with the 7A presses. This is the manipulation to get perfect stats on your level 4 Nidoran and also to get it first ball. The particular type of the manip he's doing is the harder type. There is a much easier one, but it is significantly slower. That said, this manip still isn't very hard for anyone who's actually spent time learning it. Just takes a few hours to get used to.
He did have to go for a little bit of a backup manip there due to the NPC being in the frame when he went to save on the normal spot, but it's not a big deal. You just move 2 steps forward.
But then he got tripped up because PC potion happened, and now he tried to throw 1 ball to begin with, but it broke out. He doesn't really have that many balls to be messing around here, so he's going for the weakening method. And now it's still not all that likely to catch, so he's decided to give up, go for broke, and try again from scratch. And hopefully remember to do the correct buffer to select his Pokeballs in slot 2 this time. That wasn't much of a troll, it was entirely on himself to make that mistake. But it is just a factor of not being used to doing races and not being used to having a PC potion in general. It's all on that race difference. Okay, he got it this time. We'll make sure he's actually caught it though. And yep, all good. So that's about a minute setback, but considering what his opponent had to go through in the rival fight, it's probably not going to prove costly just yet, at least on its own. However, Pokeguy is probably also looking towards the seeding for the bracket, where seeding after your record will be done based on your times in your races, so any kind of rough start and the time that he can possibly get starts getting worse immediately. There haven't been any amazing times in the races prior to this, but there have been some pretty solid times, so he'll definitely want to be finishing strong in each and every race. And a minute lost to Nidoran is just a minute you can't get back very easily at all. Now RPG is coming up to the second trip to Viridian City, and since he's on Super Game Boy, he's probably not going to be manipulating for a Nidoran, is he? Or at least what I assume is Super Game Boy anyway, it might be. Pokemon Stadium, but I'll assume it's Super Game Boy just based off the water that he had.
He did buy 8 Pokeballs, so that would lead me to assume he's not going to be manipulating the Nidoran.
Yeah.
And he didn't save, so he is not.
Yeah, I guess I might be slightly behind you on the stream in that case, because I haven't seen that yet, but... Yeah, okay.
He does get a Nidoran first encounter, but it's a level 3.
Level 3 is fine. Like, if you're not manipulating, then you assume that you can run either level 3 or level 4 equally well. Level 4 does have its advantages, of course, which is why we manipulate for level 4, but when you're a non-manip runner, you just run either one and get on with it. And if we ignore the fact that he lost 3 minutes at the beginning of the run, this would actually be a decent Nidoran time for a race without manipulation. Sadly, those 3 minutes did happen, so for the race's perspective, this is a 10.5 minute Nidoran. Meanwhile, Pokeguy got a fairly trolly Weedle fight without anything too aggressive
Pokeguy
happening.
got a Pikachu.
Ah, yes.
That was Nidoran in the front. Okay, he got away.
He can be very thankful that it's level 3.
Yes.
Level 5 would be an awkward approach. While a level 8 Squirtle would have at least an alright chance of running from it, having to switch in Squirtle to get that chance would not be ideal. And here we go, RPGodfather took some extra steps through the grass. Of course, previous commentators have mentioned the whole Viridian Forest having fake tiles of grass that don't actually give encounters deal, so I won't go over that too much, but RPG took some extra steps through the grass which were obviously not those tiles and got an extra encounter for it. But the rest of the way he took the recommended path and didn't get any further encounters, so he's entered a Weedle fight in decent time.
Looks like
Pokeguy with the
Pokeguy
bad
has
special
bad
Squirtle, yeah.
special, Yep.
This means that even if he plays perfectly against Onyx and heals whenever he's in kill range, he can still actually die to it if the timing of a bide is bad. But I assume he saved. Again, I was watching RPGodfather too much. Get used to this gig eventually of watching 2 streams at once. So, yeah. He's making the right play to heal here, but he gets the bide.
Gets bide, so stall with Tail Whip here until the bide unleashes.
Unfortunate that it was a short bide. If it was a long bide, then he would have been able to set up to get rid of the bide problem. But as it is, he's going to be fine unless he Gen 1 misses. And there we go. So, through the fight, he does not flash the stats because he saw that he had 18 HP when he swapped the Pokemon, so he knows he has the correct Nidoran. So yeah, Pokeguy with the 14-minute proc after having a fairly costly reset at Nidoran minute, due to having the PC potion in slot 1 of his inventory. But otherwise no other major problems besides a slightly trolly Weedle. And RPGodfather is actually already entering Rock, so he's definitely made up some time on this first segment. Granted, his Nidoran will probably be nowhere near as good as Pokeguy's, but any time he can make up is good time. And there's still a chance that he gets a Nidoran which is at least roughly as good as the one Pokeguy manipulated for. So, okay, yes, he's got good attack but bad speed.
Alright, did you see what his stats were?
He had 12 attack at level 5, which guarantees he has really good attack. Not necessarily perfect, but at least really good.
It's at least 13 dB.
It's either 13 or 15 because he's got such high HP.
Does he have 20 or 21 HP?
21.
21?
Yeah. In this game, and in Gen 2, your HP is correlated to your other 4 stats in terms of their growth rates, their DV values. So, by seeing that he has high HP, we know that he has odd attack. He quickly skipped his stats without actually reading them at level 8, but I quickly caught the freeze frame and I think I saw 14 speed, and I know he'll have 16 attack. So he will be in a fairly good situation here. This is not a bad Nidoran at all. It's certainly worthy of beating the game. The only fight where he might have marginal trouble is Sabrina. Or not trouble, but we don't know whether he has a high 14 or a low 14 on speed yet. Low 14 is quite a bit worse than high 14. And he had 10 at level 5, so it's probably more likely to be a low 14. He might have problems on Short Sky as well if he's got a low 14, but hopefully he shows us his stats at least 1 or 2 more times. Alternatively, I might... if he's got the DV counter open...
I have it open, so if you see his stats, I can tell you what his DVs are.
I mean, like, on his own stream, without the speed gaming layout, he might have the DV helper open. That's... so... But yeah, I can't... I'm not going to be able I'm not going to be able to read all of his stats. I'll just pop open and see if he's got anything. Okay, apparently he knows that he has 15 DV attack somehow, so I assume that it's just based on the possible DV combinations. And anywhere from 3 to 9 speed. Okay, yeah.
Must have seen 18 attack at level 9 then.
Yeah. Perfect attack, so he's actually equal with Pokeguy in that regard, at least.
So that would make his speed 9 instead of 7, which is also really good.
Yeah.
That's really important.
9 is, what, good enough for Sabrina with either... is it 0 or 1 Carbos? I forget, but either way, it's still really good.
It's 1 Carbos?
Yeah. Yeah, he might not actually lose that much time to his stats compared to Pokeguy. He's just going to have to deal with Pokeguy being such a good runner. But... so, Chad has actually apparently come up with the full set of DVs already. We got Kion saying it's 15, 5, 9, 11.
I don't...
Yeah,
we don't know what his defense is, either 5 or 7, but everything else is correct.
So he has perfect HP, really good special, exceptional speed, and perfect attack, of course.
We won't know till the end of Route 3 whether his defense is 5 or 7, but everything else is already determined.
Okay.
So the defense is the least important, but there can be differences between 5 DV defense and 7 DV. So
yeah.
Hopefully we see 19 defense at level 14. That would mean it's a 7 DV.
We'll give shoutouts to Daily Leaf for making the Raid Helper program, which is what everyone used to find out the Nidoran stats before manipulation happened. And which is what I presume was used to find out RPGodfather's stats for this race.
That's what I was using, so yes.
Uh-huh. Of course, RPGodfather is... I'm not sure if he was slower or speed-tied. I think he's just speed-tied, but he's getting trolled by Icon's outspeed rap strats. which could burn through his potions and time quite significantly. He's getting really unlucky so far. Okay, so finally he gets a move that isn't called Wrap. I guess he got one before this because he's already done his Leer. And there we go.
Well,
3D items.
Alright, so it looks like Pokeguy is now going to be going to catch his flyer here. He's at the end of round 3, and he gets a Jigglypuff, of course.
We've been focusing more on RPGodfather still because of the whole unmanipulated stat steal, but it seems like Pokeguy had a bit of a rough route 3 without it being too bad. Considering how bad his Brock time was relative to attempt times. I guess this isn't too bad of a route 3 time, but the Jigglypuff certainly didn't help.
Got the Spearow there.
Yeah, we probably won't be seeing him trade for ducks.
Unless this manip goes very poorly, then I would not expect him to be trading for ducks.
And we've got a center skip, so yes, Pokeguy is showing us new stuff already. I mean, I'm not sure if it happened on one of the races yesterday, but we apparently are going to see Mega Punch strats. Starting off with manipulating a low-level Paris to catch at the start of Mount Moon, instead of catching a Paris towards the end. Yeah, Tekil brings up that people do the Paris manip without going on to Mega Punch, but since Pokeguy skipped the center here, and there we go, there's another minute down the drain because apparently the manipulation failed. And I guess we'll have to see if this is the unfortunate randomness of IGT0 or
he did get the Paris, he just failed the YOLO ball.
Oh, he probably did the non-red bar Paris minute while he was in red bar. Or something like that anyway, I'm not entirely sure, but he's just healed and then resaved. So I assume it's something like that.
That seems like that would be right.
And RPGodfather's finishing out Route 3 pretty smoothly, honestly. If Pokeguy isn't careful here, he's going to actually get caught in Mount Moon. Granted, it might not last for long, but... Okay, so... we're not trusting the YOLO ball here at all. Going for the weakened strats with Tackle. Okay, so he's saying it's in-game timer and he's just going to do the... In chat he said that it was in-game timer, so the REG component happened and he's just doing the same manipulation but deliberately not YOLO balling because he's no longer in red bar. RPG has his flyer on screen. Unfortunately for him, it's a Pidgey. Now, he probably would be in the market for trading for ducks to get a cut slave. But unfortunately, Pidgey is not the thing you need to trade unless you're playing, I think it's Japanese Blue, where the trade actually changes to be for a Pidgey. So he will have to get a Paris in Mount Moon or an Oddish later on.
Alright, so RPGodfather had 19 defense at level 14, so his DVs are 15 HP, 15 attack, 7 defense, 9 speed, and 11 special.
Besides outspeeding Misty, I honestly don't think you could ask for much more in a race that they're in. But yeah, okay, so now Mega Punch Manip. Starting from just after the nerd, he's very close to leveling to level 16. He just needs a little more experience. Under 100. So the plan here is to pick up all the useful items of Mount Moon, pick up the TM for Mega Punch, which is slightly stronger in Horn Attack, but has a chance to miss. And then at the end, hopefully he's going to encounter a Paris, but since he already caught a Paris, this time he's going to kill it. And RPG with the very early random Paris, so he's set for Cut Slave. He is, I suppose, catching up, but at the same time Pokeguy is about to hopefully get to the end of Mount Moon without any more encounters, so... With RPG having to suffer through random encounters for the rest of Moon, there will probably be a bit of a gap opening up again. Pokeguy has made it at least past the Mega Punch TM itself, so any failure at this point will start to get less costly. RPG into the first trainer battle. Pokeguy only fought one trainer about Moon because of what he's done before this point, whereas RPG will be fighting both the Nerd and the Lass, as you've seen from pretty much everyone in the previous races. It's worth noting that RPG also loses a tiny bit of time to Pokeguy every time the HP colour changes from green to yellow or yellow to red, because Pokeguy doesn't have to deal with that. Anyhow, successful installation for Pokeguy. He's made it all the way through, he got the level 10 Paris, dies to a 4x super effective Poison Sting, and that gets him the last bit of experience he needs for Nidorino. And all of that is very important because he can't actually learn Mega Punch until, I think, Nidoking? I don't think Nidorino can learn it, but maybe it can. In any case, Nidoran definitely can't learn it, so if he was trying to fight this fight as Nidoran, he would have very few Horn Attacks and no Mega Punch. But yeah, first Nidoking is in play at 28 minutes roughly, and Mega Punch will get him a few extra kills that Horn Attack just can't, or at least chances. The Rattata is guaranteed to die to a Mega Punch, and the Zubat is at least a chance, albeit a much worse one.
Very lucky there that Supersonic didn't hit. That can always be quite a problem if that Zubat confuses you. That can get bad really quickly.
The odds are very much in your favour, since Supersonic has pretty bad accuracy and you can just hit through, but it's always nice to see it miss and have that peace of mind. It's probably better to not see it at all, but you can't have everything.
Also, no disable from the Grimer.
Yeah. Having Mega Punch partly guards against that, but you need to have spare Horn Attacks, and I don't think he really does. Mega Punch can also one-shot the Grimer if it criticals, whereas Horn Attack can't, and I assume it might have a small chance to kill the Vortorb, don't really remember, but he didn't get it this time. And it's guaranteed to two-shot the Coughing, whereas Horn Attack is sort of a bad range. And yeah, he hasn't missed Mega Punch yet, so he can count himself quite lucky there. Pokeguy out of Moon barely under 30 minutes. RPG with his early restart is still on for a okay time on his own timer, but he won't be out of Mount Moon until at least perhaps 33 minutes on the actual race time. And Tico was actually right. Sub 30 Moon with 2 in-game timer zeros happening. Oh, well, one of them wasn't an in-game timer zero, but it was more costly time-wise than an in-game timer zero. Sub 30 with 2 manipulation fails. It's honestly, like, fairly good. Well, not just fairly good, really good, so... You can see that Pokeguy, despite having a rough time of things, to be honest, is playing pretty well. Pidgeotto... I think he just has to get in 1 Mega Punch for Pidgeotto to be a guaranteed free shot. And there's finally his first missed Mega Punch, but not punished. Okay, he's going to go for more Mega Punches. And Sand Attack miss.
Fail, which is always good.
Yeah. I think he's just going for the second Mega Punch just because a critical would kill again. Sort of punished by the miss, but not punished in terms of getting Sand Attacked. And his HP is dangerously low here. I sure hope he's... Yeah, if he gets Hyper Fang from the Rattata, it would probably kill, but Mega Punch kills the Rattata before it can kill him. And Mega Punch shores up the 2-shot range on the Bulbasaur. So he was playing a bit risky there, one could say, but in the end it does work out. Pokeguy with his first taste at Red Bar, apart from the end of Route 3. Well, Pokeguy with his first taste of Red Bar as Nidoking, but he's going to be knocked out again. He's going to level up out of it again for now. Hopefully he'll get knocked back in by the Lass after this Bug Catcher. The Bug Catcher himself can't really do enough damage to knock off even the 2 or 3 health he would need to get back into Red Bar here. It might even only be 1, in which case maybe, but I think it's 2. And plus with Mega Punch, Caterpie just dies in 1 hit anyway. So now he'll be aiming to get into Red Bar off this Pidgey, or the Nidoran following it. Of course, having Red Bar on Nugget Bridge this early is a risk itself, because you don't one-shot absolutely everything, so the things that you don't one-shot can do a decent amount of damage back in some cases. Gets the Poison Sting for Nidoran Female, which is about the one move that wouldn't knock him back into Red Bar. Apart from, I suppose, Growl. So now, 14 out of 66 health. I think that's 1 off Red Bar at this point. Because we don't have audio, so can't tell if he actually has it or not. But yeah, he does not. So he's 1 health off Red Bar. But he's about to level up, so he'll need a little more damage than that. Okay, 17 out of 69, so now he's 3 health off Red Bar. Leer will not do it. He's switching to Horn Attack. Horn Attack and Mega Punch have maybe roughly the same chance to kill the Ekans, but... After the Leer, Horn Attack was probably guaranteed. But yeah, no Red Bar yet. So Pidgey number 2 time. This Pidgey, well, I think it'll still die in one hit to Mega Punch, but there we go, there's a quick attack. So we have Nugget Bridge Red Bar. And unfortunately he's got the Mankey coming up. This health probably is a bit
This
too low.
might be slightly too low for the Mankey, just in case he does get Karate Chop. He would survive a low kick, but he wouldn't survive a Karate Chop.
There's the save, so he definitely wants to try and preserve Red Bar. And RPG, while we were talking about Pokeguy's Nugget Bridge, has made it out of Mount Moon and is making his way up.
And
there we
he gets
go.
Karate Chop.
Playing it risky, not paying off this time. He's probably just lost more time overall than Red Bar would save him for the rest of Route 25, but we won't tell him that. Meanwhile, RPG is level 18 for Pidgeotto, which means it's guaranteed to free shot with Horn Attack, although given that he has Perfect Attack anyway, it wasn't as necessary as it otherwise would be with a non-manipulated Nidoran. Double Def! Yeah, okay, so this Red Bar play is not panning out at all for Pokeguy. He is trying his best to show us the new strats and to play like he would in an attempt, but the RNG is not cooperating this time. Okay, this time, unless we Gen 1 with the Poison Sting, he's through. He will lose Red Bar when he levels up to learn Fresh, but I assume he's hoping to get it off either the Machop or the Geodude on the next fight. And he's not that far off.
Typically on 20 health he should be able to get it off the Geodude.
Yeah, he only needs one tackle from the Geodude, but the Geodude is also like spamming Defense Curl. Pokeguy with another snarky comment in chat. Apparently never saving again, so I hope he keeps playing risky and sticks to that promise, and then we might actually have a race on our hands. That said, RPG is already on Nugget Bridge, so it's not out of it just yet.
Honestly, is much closer at this point than I figured he would be after resetting. After dying to Rival.
At this point, Pokeguy's numerous deaths are probably adding up to almost as much time as RPG lost at the start, but RPG also has to contend with not having a manipulated Nidoran and playing on an inferior console, unfortunately. So we need Pokeguy to trip up a few more times if we want to be talking about this as a race. Instead of these two trying to get the best time they can for seeding purposes. But there's still a chance, nonetheless. Okay, so he's taken 4 damage from Geodude. He's in Red Bar for now. I think 16 out of 78 is Red Bar. But he's definitely going to come out at 24, so he's probably looking for a quick attack. Okay, the significance of winning or losing the race, well, top 2 from each group make playoffs, they're a 4 in a group. So, the tiebreak, I mean, obviously the first thing to determine whether you win or lose is your actual record in terms of races won or lost, but after that, if there happens to be a tie in terms of overall record, it goes down to your times in each of your races. And not only that, when the bracket is being made from all the groups, the seedings for the bracket are going to be based on the times that you got in your races. So even if you get 3-0, if you have a poor performance at each of your races, you perhaps might only get the 7th or 8th seed, which could lead to a very tough bracket. And we've seen this happen in various other speed gaming tournaments where, while it looks like the good players are making it through the group relatively unscathed, if they had a rough time in one or two of their races and posted some bad times, they can get a really rough bracket. So the top runners still need to be playing at the top of their game. Otherwise, they might not be making it very far into the bracket. Or at least not making it as far as they think they should. That said, obviously if you're trying to win the whole thing, then you could argue that it doesn't matter who you're playing, but if your goal is to get a certain placing, then you need to be watching your race times.
I just noticed that RPGodfather nicknamed all of his slaves as well. So all 4 of his Pokemon are nicknamed A.
Yes. The only significant time loss is nicknaming the flyer, I think, and even then, it's not a huge deal. Like, nicknaming the Paris doesn't lose all that much time. And nicknaming the... well, obviously you always nickname the Squirtle and the Nidoran. But yeah, nicknaming the Paris is not that far away from an even play. And yes, in the very first match of the tournament, of course, we had a number 1 group seed lose. So even if that isn't the direction that this particular race is taking, you can't take anything for granted. And with the very real chance that Group A ends up in a 3-way tiebreak, those runners in particular will be looking for good race times, but it never hurts to get started now. And Pokeguy is teasing us with Misty at 39 health. But he's going to save first, apparently. So, at this HP, I think he's arranged to die to a non-crit Bubble Beam? Or yeah, it's a range, I think. And a crit Water Gun would almost certainly kill him. Oh no, never mind, I forgot that he's living up, so he shouldn't die to a non-crit Bubble Beam. But he definitely dies, but he has a good chance to die to a crit Water Gun. Wasn't paying attention to him being level 24, sorry. Here's the Water Gun. There is the non-critical. He's got some red bar.
And now he's actually at a very good health for the next route going forward.
Yeah. He's in red bar by 1 health right now. He'll lose it at the next level up, but he also doesn't want to be too low because there is a fight coming up where he can't really go into the fight at low red bar. It's better to be just above red bar at this point, honestly.
He's very likely to get knocked back into red bar by one of the Pidgeys.
That's also true, yeah. Each of them is 1 in 3 to use quick attack. And at this health, he should survive even if all 3 use quick attack. Provided there aren't any mishaps on this fight, with Gen 1 misses. Unless one of the Pidgeys is the critical, of course. Which is probably more likely than not, if all 3 use quick attack, but... oh no, there we go. So he can survive 1 critical, that's fine. Again, I keep forgetting about the effects of level ups on its health, and that happened to be a level up that gave him 4 HP, which are the exception to the norm in this case. RPG is actually, I think, on high experience, or at least reasonably high at this point. He had level 18 for Pidgeotto, and he fought the Machop Onyx Hiker, so I think he should be in position to get level 30 for Oddish, save him some stress later. But I wasn't watching enough to tell if he swapped out. In which case, if you swap out on the Geodude, then you lose the high experience route. Pokeguy entering that fight with the 3 Pidgeys now. He should only die if he gets criticaled at least twice and gets quick attack in general from all 3 of them. So this is about as safe as you can be without saving, or without being very far away from Red Bar.
Alright, so he should be safe now after the first Pidgey doesn't quick attack.
Yeah, so
now he's definitely safe, as that one didn't critical.
yeah. Not sure if there's a scenario where you die to 2 quick attacks, even if they do both critical, from 21 health. But there we go, his health is not too bad at all. This Raticate on the next fight can also quick attack, and if it criticals it does roughly 10 to 11, but I think 11 is the max roll. I should probably pull up some ranges before I start spouting even more wrong numbers.
Alright, so Pokeguy is going to be buying 3 repels here and selling some items. Those repels are going to be for Rock Tunnel a little bit later on.
Yeah, you might have seen the odd person buy super potions before, but there should be no real need for it. For Pokeguy's Nidoran. Okay, so that Raticate could have killed him with a medium roll on a critical. It was a 10 to 12 range, or 20 to 13 I suppose, but... he risked it and it worked out fine. RPG not saving for Misty that first time, but 1 death to Misty is honestly fine. Provided that you pick up the extra nugget, if it happens. And it's not all that likely to die with the Nidoran he has. Although I may have just...
And he does get crit by Bubble Beam.
Yep.
So that is
And
a
he
death
seems-
for RPG.
Of course, the actual costly thing here is having to have all 3 of his slaves die. Mainly Squirtle, which I think survives 3 hits, normally, depending on its defense. So, it wouldn't be that bad if he was just Nidoking, or if he had to sacrifice some of his slaves on, say, Rival already. But, as it stands, it's going to be a bit more costly. That said, the Squirtle died without too much fuss, so the rest of this shouldn't take too long. Paris will probably take 2 hits as well, though. And since the Starby didn't pull out a critical this time. So yeah, RPG has to pick up the nugget here to fix his money. Hopefully he remembers. But otherwise, he should be fine. Pokeguy made it through Rain Rivals smoothly enough.
Alright, Pokeguy gets through the SSN rival fight just fine.
RPG
gonna be
is
heading
not
off
safe
to
for
the
Misty
search.
this time.
Still not saving for Misty.
Yeah. The XP doesn't hurt. Tekil's right on that part, but sure costly in the immediate case. Number 2, what have we got? Water gun non-criticals, an encouraging start. Okay, this time, unless... yeah, okay. This time he's through. He gets level 26 immediately as well. So he's definitely a bit ahead of the curve experience-wise. This means that if he chooses, he can play the Rock Tunnel Sprint extremely safely, with almost no with pretty much no ranges and no chance of dying unless Gen 1 miss or use the wrong move. But we'll get to that soon, since it's not even pokeguys in the Rock Tunnel Split just yet. Pokeguy saving for the final manipulation. Can to manipulate Surge's trash cans.
In the menu there that he just did, he switched his repels to the top of his inventory and taught both cut and dig to Paris. Both of those are obviously going to come in very handy.
Yeah, in the sense of required in terms of cut and dig, just saving a total ton of time in various spots in the run. Never actually required, but if you don't have it, then...
Let's see if we get Sonic Boom from Voltorb.
Are we looking for Sonic Boom health-wise? Yeah, we are. So... he'll use a move that deliberately doesn't kill.
And he gets X speed.
Yeah.
And then
the best
Screech.
he can do is a damage range with Thrash. There's no guaranteed kill on Voltorb unless you're already level 28, which RPG might be, but Pokeguy certainly isn't.
And as is the case more often than not, you typically will take no damage in the Surge fight.
The Screech quick attack potential from Pikachu was there, but didn't play out. And I'm not sure if it probably wouldn't have been quite enough damage anyway, because it probably would have only done about 10. So it wouldn't have been enough for long-term red bar, only short-term. So he's looking to take damage in one more place to have red bar for Rock Tunnel. And save on all those cries and other jingles. Save time on not playing the cries and other jingles. There are a lot of hidden time save with red bar besides just the obvious skipping cries and level up jingles, because there are kind of all these little pauses during battles which get skipped. That you just wouldn't notice if you're playing regularly. Although, cries are by far the biggest single time save of red bar. Pokeguy's still on something approaching decent pace. Could still sub 155 in this race, which would put him in a good position seeding wise. But he will need the rest of the run to go at least okay.
So this fight that Pokeguy's entering here right now, let's see if he's going to still be doing... I believe he should still be doing the 4-turn Thrash to... he's going to go ahead and Mega Punch the Oddish. So he won't have to worry about being confused or getting any bad moves from the last Bellsprout, because he can just thrash his way through the last 3.
Yeah, so Oddish is a riskier Pokemon to give a turn to, but overall, Mega Punch into Free-Turn Fresh is way more reliable. Just because the move difference isn't that big of a factor. Bellsprout can still be trolly enough with Wrap and Sleep Powder. RPG fell behind by 4 minutes right at the very start because he reset the game to a death at the first rival fight. Since then, they've probably not been that far apart from each other pace-wise, apart from RPG dying to Misty, but he is also losing time to a slower console. And yeah, it looks like Pokeguy will be going for Red Bar off to Cubone.
Also, it looks like RPGodfather is going to be going into Surge with the same health that Pokeguy had.
It is possible that he's level 28 though. Not sure if Star Yuki gives quite enough for that, since he had to kill the Star U twice.
He does
Okay,
go
yeah,
to
he
level
does.
28, so he does get Red Bar off of the Cubone. So that's going to save him quite a bit of time here in Rock Tunnel.
Provided he doesn't get trolled by the Oddish. RPG is 28 for Surge, which will guarantee Fresh on Voltorb if he goes for that. He may not know to go for it, he may not want to go for it, but we probably won't know the difference. But we'll see if he uses it or not.
Based on his health, I would assume you would want to go for Bubble Beam.
Yeah, but we don't know if he's going to play for deliberate Red Bar or not, honestly. It's always hard to tell with a runner with lower times. Everyone at this point pretty much goes for Red Bar off Weezing's Self-Destruct, but other instances of Red Bar are somewhat optional depending on how confident you are. In your luck and your execution. So that it wouldn't even be that safe to go for it isn't necessarily 100% safe to go for Fresh on Voltorb, because you could get the free turn Fresh and hitting yourself on the Raichu, but it could potentially save time if he knows to do it, and he's not going for Red Bar. Pokeguy through to Troll Oddish just fine. And he's got Red Bar presumably for the rest of at least Rock Tunnel. From that health, yeah, I think he's just fine for Red Bar in general. Might fall out at 32? Definitely won't fall out at 31 though. And RPG is learning why everyone likes to do cans manip even though it feels slow. He's having a little dance around the cans. Unfortunately, he does not seem to know the correct way to do the red and blue cans, and picked a can that had absolutely no chance of having to switch in it. That's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Hopefully he goes for the one to the right this time. He does, and okay, he's through. So the first time he got, or even the first or second time he got the first can correct, he picked the second can which was 0% chance. But makes it through without getting trolled too hard.
And Pokeguy is through Rock Tunnel. He'll be heading off to get Fly. And go to the mart. And do all of his shopping for the run.
But before that, one last chance to get knocked into slightly deeper Red Bar by the Vulpix Quick Attack. We'll see if it happens or not, or if he actually wants it to happen. At this rate, at this health, he is safe from 2 attacks by Pidgeotto, provided neither of them criticals. And he's just had the safe outcome happen anyway. No HP change, still fine to get 2 attacks from Pidgeotto, so he can set up an X accuracy on Pidgeotto, if those are the strats he happens to use. Well, he can set up an X accuracy on Pidgeotto without too much fear of death. RPG smoothly through Surge as well. No problem there. Seems like he must have only taken 1 damaging move, and that was it. One day I will learn to use both my eyes and watch both runners, but for the time being this is going to be a bit of a struggle still. So apologies for focusing in on one runner too much quite a few times during this commentary. So far, hopefully it'll improve towards the second half. But it is certainly no easy task to pay full attention to both streams at once, if one of them is doing something which appears to be more interesting. Pokeguy with a fairly comfortable lead at this point. Shouldn't be any trouble with the race, but still looking towards setting a good time for that seeding, for those seeding purposes. And he is at least not buying Ice Beam, or receiving Ice Beam, I should say. Skipped the first fresh water, skipped getting TM13, so we are going to see some new strats. The first
Skipping
Blizzard strats of the tournament, I think.
Let's see if he also goes for the late Earthquake. I believe he probably will, if he's going for Ice Beamless.
Yeah, at this point there is absolutely no reason for anyone who's near the top of the game to be doing early Earthquake. Even the new newbie guide has late Earthquake strats now. That said, because a lot of the people in this tournament learned the game before that guide came out, you are still going to see a lot of early Earthquake. And there's nothing wrong with that. It just so happens that late Earthquake is going to be the strat going forward. Alan already wishing bad luck on Pokeguy. Unfortunately for him, most of the Blizzard misses in this game don't actually matter. Or at least don't lose more time than the 1 turn that it costs to have Blizzard miss. RPG failed to 4-turn Thrash and is trying to get his Pidgey killed off, so that he can safely finish off the fight without confusion. Unfortunately for him, Bellsprout is not very good at killing anything, so even a level 6 Pidgey took 2 turns to die to Rat, or was it 3? In any case, took its time, but it's over now. It looks like he probably won't be playing for Red Bar based off that decision to swap out immediately, since getting hit in confusion once would have put him in pretty good position. Or it might be that he just, again, doesn't know that hitting yourself in confusion is a strat for Red Bar. Pokeguy taking no damage from the Pidgeotto, which might take him out of Red Bar at level 32. It would be unfortunate. Yep, he's out. And he's not even safe from Ghastly's Nightshade. He's coming up on a fight where he has to use Rock Slide on a Ghastly, of course, which is not 100% accurate. Not that almost any move in Red Blue is 100% accurate, but you know. He's going to have to use 90% accurate Rock Slide and is only...
He could have also gotten put back into Red Bar with with a Vine Whip from Ivysaur, but he got Leech Seed instead.
Yeah. He used the Glichless strat on Rival actually. So that involves thrashing the Ivysaur and deliberately, or not killing it in one hit, unless you critical. So he's on 23 health and dies exactly to a single Nightshade from this next fight, which is the last fight before he gets a full heal. And does not save, so...
No save.
Here we go.
You are very unlikely still to die to this fight, but it can happen if you miss a Rock Slide.
Yeah.
Things go downhill pretty quick.
It's not just Nightshade which is the problem either. You can't say he's out of the woods just because it doesn't use Nightshade, but the first Rock Slide at least hits.
Both Rock Slides hit, so he is safe.
Okay, and presumably he won't be crazy enough to do heal pad skip. I don't think it's even really viable in the current strats anyway, so... he is safe at this point. He could, yeah, he's saying, do people actually save that into the chat? Of course, he could have just made his way back from Cerulean Center with Fly. It wouldn't have been that much slower, but it's the same problem as Misty. Ghastly is not all that fast at killing off the rest of your party. That said, with the whole Gen 1 mechanic of not preserving your repel stats through a save, it would have been slightly trolly even if you had saved and had to reset. There is no real way to get out of being trolled at least a little there. He indeed did take the heal pad, so... safely free to first Ghastly and no risk of dying at this point. Or at least extremely minimal risk. But yeah, there is always a chance that Paris can win the fight against the Ghastly, because of just how little physical defense Ghastly has, and Dig being a pretty powerful move for this point in the game. But that's not to say that it's anything that you want to happen. Especially if it's the first Ghastly that you die to and you have to make it through two of them with Paris. The pokeguy using the glitch to get past the ghost, so I think we'll have to disqualify him, sadly. But no, okay. He's used the Pokédoll on the ghost, which we do not consider a glitch. Gets to skip the self-scope that way, at least. One of the major motivators. Well, apart from the Pokédoll's use being intended to get you through a fight, to get you through a wild battle without having to kill it or run away yourself, another motivator for not wanting to do Pokédoll-less runs is just how slow the underground rocket place is where you get the self-scope. I don't think anyone would really want that to be added back to the run anytime soon. Nothing of any note is happening right now, really. RPG is just finishing off the Fly Split. Last fight before he gets to the Pokemon, and he's in no danger at all. Whereas Pokeguy is just cleaning up the easy fights at the top of the Pokemon Tower. But we'll be right back into the action as soon as Pokeguy clears Pokemon Tower.
Yep, not really any risk of dying for Pokeguy for a little while here.
RPG's health is so high that he's not going to have trouble on rivals, so we'll probably see Pokeguy enter into the next real dangerous part of the run around the same time that RPG runs into the Ghastlies. So they'll both actually hit some risk. RPG does remember that backup nugget from earlier. I had forgotten, so good thing that he remembered. Unfortunately, he's gone for the nugget first and probably screwed up any kind of queue he had to get the elixir, so has to waste some extra time going back for that. But yeah, RPG is absolutely fine on money now. If you die to Misty once, you only lose roughly around the same amount as the nugget sells for, so no problems there. He's taking an extra center, so if there was any doubt at all about him making it through Pokemon Tower, there isn't now. But ultimately that center is unnecessary. Now Pokeguy is taking Celadon Center at the intended time to do it, after Pokemon Tower. And we're going straight into Silphco, at least after bribing the guard to get into Saffron City. This is also a somewhat recent development where it was decided that it's faster to go to Silphco first rather than getting Surf and the Gold Teeth from the Safari Zone. This was actually the order done a long time ago, back before someone realised that you could combine Repel text if you did Safari first, but recently it was discovered that you can actually do that even if you do Sylph first. And doing Sylph first actually has some other benefits, especially if you're doing late Earthquake route. So he's going straight up to 4-5, not picking up Earthquake yet, getting the elixir from the tree. And facing off against this Arbok without Earthquake. He opts to go for Fresh straight up. This is a ranged 2-shot. We'll see if he gets it. He does not, but Arbok plays very nice and does absolutely no damage and no paralysis. So he could have Horn Drilled there in the circumstances, but no trouble. RPG just finishing off his shopping with the Super Repels and Super Potions, I guess. Thought he bought some earlier, but no real trouble with getting more if you've got money for it. RPG gonna pick up HM Fly and head to Tower Rival, as Pokeguy did a bit earlier. The edge is kind of taken off because of him taking the center full HP, but there is still the chance that things could go wrong. Okay, so, but Pokeguy's screen is the important one right now. We've got Sylph Rival, where he will presumably at least give it a go of trying to get Red Bar. First off, we got a quick attack, non-critical. Makes it out of Pidgeot without too much trouble. And now, here we go, here's the Hydro Pump. So this is a deliberate attempt to get Red Bar. Gets Red Bar!
He does. Excellent range on that Hydro Pump.
Yeah, this is perfect Red Bar if we can keep it. Now we'll see where he saves, if at all. He's got 3 fights that can kill him from this health. And all of them are all, like, pretty much guaranteed to kill him if they do use their attacking move. with how low he is right now. Perhaps not Hypno Headbutt by the time we make it there, but any kind of attack from the Cubone and most attacks from the Nidorino are going to kill him, so he's got some risk coming up. We'll see what happens. Without Earthquake, he has to set up on this fight, and he does not save. He also doesn't have Ice Beam, but that doesn't really matter as much, because he would have to set up without Earthquake anyway. And okay, through this one. Or, yeah, I assume that he's going to Horn Drill the Marowak, so he's through this one. The Nidorino, okay, Nidorino isn't as likely to kill him as I thought. He can make it through at least a low roll Fury attack from this health. But yeah, okay, so he has to Elixir. He is not saving, so we're on for a Nidorino death still. Pokeguy really going out on a limb here to try and get a good race time, I think. Or it's just Pokeguy being Pokeguy and just risking it because he doesn't know better. One of those two. And through to Nidorino as well.
Alright. I'm interested to see what he does in Koga's gym before the Hypno.
Yeah,
I expect that we'll see a save instead of a heal. That seems to be the trend going forward.
Yes, although given it's Pokeguy, it might just be no heal, no save. By the time he gets there, he shouldn't be dead to a non-crit headbutt. Like if he'll get to 39 obviously from just battles, and then he will probably use at least one more rare candy. So maybe level 39, or level 39 or 40, get at least about 6 more health maybe. So he won't be dead to a non-crit headbutt, which may lead him to not save at all. But yeah, we were talking about how he's getting late Earthquake. This is the point where he actually has to get it. Now that the rockets are gone from the building, he can get it without fighting the trainer with a Machoke that normally guards it. And he does need the rare candy as well. Or at least, it's more convenient to get this rare candy than another one. Strictly, probably not necessary. Since he did early stuff, now he's fulfilling the second part of what you normally do here, which is Safari Zone.
The changes to the menuing with this route is very interesting. Very different item switching. Usually in Sylph Co for Sylph Rival you have your X speeds and your X specials up at the top of your menu, but he had to scroll down for each one of those when he was setting up during those fights.
Yeah, it's not so bad since they were both next to each other, and he only had to do the extra scroll once, but loses a tiny bit of time at least, and he's just been moving it up since then. Gets the rare candy and the PP up, which are both necessary for the low level strats at the end game. And then for a little bit, again, there will be just nothing of note happening. RPG will be using his Pokédoll strats. Pokeguy will be making his way through the Safari Zone, and we'll have to wait for him to at least reach the gym before we see any kind of risk happening again. No save for Hypno is fine, provided you can actually kill the Hypno with one of your other Pokemon. There's no guarantee of that. Hypno could just kill everything in one hit. It does outspeed all of them. And I think if you got down to your flyer, it might not be able to do enough damage even to chip off the last bit of Hypno's health, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. The Thunderbolt that RPG just used on Golbat wasn't guaranteed, but criticaled, so it doesn't really matter. At most, with most non-related Nidorans, it's actually better to Rock Slide the Golbat, because Rock Slide is just a flat-up 90% to kill, provided you don't have awful attack. Whereas Thunderbolt needs, I think, either 15 or 14 to be guaranteed, and RPG did not have 15 DV special there, so he made the wrong play and wasn't punished.
It does only need 14 special to be guaranteed.
Okay.
My route uses 14 special and it's guaranteed every time. So.
Okay, good. Yeah, yeah. There are very, very few places where the difference between 14 and 15 matters. I wasn't sure if that was one of them. Okay, so Pokeguy's into the gym. We've got... He's still on reasonably low health, probably out of headbutt crit range, like we said. But at least by the time he gets to Hypno.
Yeah, so he'll level up to 39 here, so that will take him to 20 HP most likely, which should be out of crit range for headbutt.
No, it's not out of crit range, but it's out of normal range. Yeah.
Out of normal range, my mistake.
Yeah, headbutt only does about 15 damage, so he's well out of that already. Chat saying that Golbat actually isn't guaranteed on 14 DV, but it's roughly the same chance to kill as Rock Slide anyway, so at that point it doesn't really matter.
No save.
Here we go. So, headbutt, critical, or confusion, and we have some doubt coming back into Pokeguy's run. Anything else, and he looks like he's on pace for a really good run. Besides everything before Mount Moon. Before and including Mount Moon, I should say. And yep, he is
Gauss.
Keeping that good pace. Definitely got a chance at the best time in the tournament here.
Yep, that surviving that fight will keep him safe up until Giovanni's gym. He doesn't really have any chance to die anytime between now and then.
Yeah, besides the dreaded Gen 1 miss. And Shiru making a bad joke in chat about him dying right here, which of course is true, but doesn't matter. So the best time that there's ever been in an SRL race of Pokemon Red Glichless is 153 flat. I don't think that's what he's on pace for here, but it could be in contention if everything from here goes smoothly. It would be quite amazing as well after that Mount Moon time, but you never know. And of course, anything near there would give him a really good start in terms of his tournament seeding times. So he's reviving Nidoking into Red Bar as usual. Nothing special, pretty much everyone in the tournament's going to be doing this bit. RPG heading down Cycling Road. Picks up the PP up. He might just be doing generic strats that work for every Nidoran at this point, honestly. Don't know if he's going to do the mansion candies. Well, yeah, you pretty much have to with non-perfect speed. Or at least it's very highly recommended to do them. Yeah, he uses the PP up despite it probably not being necessary with his particular stats. Just gives him a bit of extra safety in certain places. And does not cut the bushes, which honestly might be faster on Super Game Boy 2, considering all the screen transitions that you have to do to use cut. But I wouldn't know for sure. I'm just kind of making a guess there.
I believe cutting the bush is only faster if your menuing is pretty close to frame perfect on Game Boy players. So I assume Super Game Boy would lose enough time to not make it worth it.
Oh yeah, we are talking about Super Game Boy, but he's almost certainly actually playing on Super Game Boy 2. If he was playing on the original Super Game Boy, he would be disqualified, so one can assume that he's playing on a legitimate console instead. Super Game Boy, of course, the original Super Game Boy runs at a higher frame rate than any other Game Boy-esque console, and so if anyone was actually playing on it, it would be an unfair advantage. Though, to be entirely fair, that frame rate advantage is mostly balanced out by having the slow pellets, but it's still not something we want to deal with in Game Boy speedrunning in general. Pokeguy is of course learning Blizzard, since he skipped Ice Beam earlier. Now there has been some developments on strats that don't learn any ice move at all, but they're not quite there yet, so Pokeguy is just opting for the current generally accepted best strat of learning Blizzard. Skip some mansion candies, like why wouldn't he at this point? Does not drop the secret key. Or does not skip the secret key, so still in there, and on to Erica. Now Erica should be fine. You have to use Blizzard on the execute here. And if it misses, it can be Truffle, but unlike Gen 3 and onwards, or Gen 2 and onwards, sorry, Blizzard in this game actually has 90% accuracy, so you have to assume that it's going to hit most of the time. And the Gen 1 Pokemon Glichless routes are pretty much based around it hitting every time you use it. RPG has entered Self-Co and is doing some more standard strategies where... Or, not, I shouldn't say standard, because late Earthquake is going to become the new standard, but he's doing the historical strats, which most people know of getting Earthquake before you go and fight the Arbok. Blizzard number 2 is a success. Tangela can't do too much, in all honesty, but you still don't want to miss ever, regardless. And Earthquake on both Victory Bell and Vileplume is guaranteed to kill, despite being a little slower than Blizzard. RPG will be heading into Yarbok, which for him is a complete non-event, provided he doesn't Gen 1 miss. And then he'll be doing his own self-rival, where I imagine he won't be going for Red Bar, but we can always keep half an eye on that to see if he tries. Yeah, Pokeguy's been doing new strats pretty much from start to finish. Tripped up on the Nidoran manipulation, tripped up on the Paris manipulation, although that second one was just bad RNG. But since then he's been rocketing through the game, honestly. Oh no, I forget. He died twice to Nugget Bridge Mankey as well. So it's been since then that he's had a really good run. Pokeguy will be Pokeguy will be heading into Blaine now. It's kind of by necessity that because he skipped the mansion candies, he's doing a completely safe strat. In historical runs, before we figured out that Horn Drill on Blaine was sometimes worth it, you would occasionally have a damage range to kill the Arcanine with Earthquake. But that's just never worth going for when you skip the mansion candies. And honestly, never worth going for in general with current knowledge, but back in the day you just always Earthquake Blaine no matter what your stats were. Blaine is just completely free. You cannot die to him. The only thing that can happen is what just happened to Pokeguy. Growlithe has a Super Potion use on it at full health, which means that nothing happens that turn instead of it using agility. So you're still fast in it and you can use Horn Drill, which saves a little bit of time. And continues Pokeguy's amazing RNG so far this run. At least since he got past Mankey. Let us not forget what happened before Mankey. That might just even out everything that's happened since then. Now, Sabrina time. Not safe, not entirely safe, but only in the context of the possibility of Gen 1 missing. And then after Sabrina, we'll be coming up on one of the fights which actually does have a substantial amount of risk.
I'm still interested to see what Pokeguy's going to do when it comes to that fight that you're talking about.
Yeah. Predictably, RPG has not gone for Red Bar. Yeah.
I'm assuming Pokeguy's probably not going to save or heal.
Certainly won't be healing. I don't know about saving. RPG gets the first Gen 1 miss that we've seen. Gen 1 misses the Marowak with Ice Beam and is not punished in any way. Not that he would have died in any given scenario, I don't think. But the Marowak uses a non-damaging move regardless.
He actually has so much health right now, it could actually become a problem in Koga's gym with the route that he's using. He might end up having too much health to die to Weezing self-destruct, which won't lose a lot of time, but it will be a little bit of a time loss.
That is true. He's got a couple of chances to take damage before then, but neither of them are guaranteed. And there goes one of them. I think I saw him only having one Horn Drill for this fight, so he might lose a turn here. Which means he has another chance to take damage. Yeah. So he'll lose a turn on Nido Queen, because he's not going to be able to kill that without a critical with any move. So he will have at least a chance to take damage, but he might also take a paralysis from Body Slam, which would be worst case scenario. Though he doesn't really have any way to heal paralysis without also healing to full, with the full restore. Okay, and no damage taken, not punished. But unfortunately still too high health. Okay, black belt time. We can focus in on black belt since RPG has absolutely no risk in the first fight of Koga's gym. And Pokeguy has not saved or healed, what a surprise.
At this point in the race, why would he bother?
He's
If
running that
gone
luck.
for it gone for it so many times thus far. He gets low kick, which is one of the damaging moves, but the one that you want to see, you don't, because that won't kill you without a critical.
Yeah, it's
So he
sad
does make
really
it through
that
this fight.
this pace came after all the train wrecks up until the end of Nugget Bridge, because this honestly could have easily been race world record and best time in the tournament by far. But as it is, it's coming off, what was it, like 37-minute Nugget Bridge? Something silly like that, so...
With all of the newer strats that he's doing, this could have been a really, really special run if it would have started off with a little bit better luck.
Yeah. We'll see where, if at all, he stays in the Elite Four. It probably will honestly be nowhere at this point. He's probably confident enough in beating RPG, given that he's had such a good role since Nugget Bridge. And he might also know that RPG died to Misty.
He does seem like he's keeping an eye on the race. I do see him in chat.
Yeah,
So-
he's certainly speaking in our chat, but we don't know if he's actually got the stream open. And yeah, since he doesn't have Ice Beam, he's using an extra couple of Earthquakes on Giovanni so as not to die, or so as not to have an unfortunate unnecessary miss. Does lose a couple of seconds or loses 50 frames every time he uses Earthquake instead of something like Ice Beam, but not missing and not dying is slightly more important. Okay, this is RPG's last chance to take any significant damage before Koga, so he'll really want maybe not a confusion, but at least a headbutt, or a crit headbutt even.
A confusion that doesn't confuse would be really good.
Yeah.
And he gets poison
and
gas.
Nothing at all. No real wave to stall without losing valuable horn drill PP, so just gotta hope for X attack or critical on Wheezing at this point.
He could end up getting what I got in my first race. I used Thunderbolt to stall and got 2x attacks from Koga. That would guarantee a kill.
Yeah, that would certainly be enough. It's fine if it doesn't kill, if it does like 98% of his health. So 1x attack would almost certainly be okay, but it still wouldn't be guaranteed to kill, I don't think. He's got to lose 123 health somehow. We'll see if it happens. Pokeguy, self-rival. There is, not self-rival, sorry. Viridian rival, no risk, but damage range with Blizzard on the Pidgeot to save a turn. He gets it? Of course he gets it. Why wouldn't he get it? And going straight for the Poke Flute instead of Thunderbolt, and self-struck straight away, so
that's not going to kill.
Not a critical, but a really high roll. So,
Really high roll, so he'll have red bar for a little while, but he will pop out probably in by the end of this boss rush he's about to go on.
He's barely in now. He's going to pop out at 43, never mind 45. So he might try and take a hit. But honestly, he might just play without red bar at this point. It's hard to say. There aren't any really great places to play for a hit either. Victory Bell, sort of, but also does a bit too much damage and has that 50% chance to just sleep powder you instead, which is something you very much don't want.
Alright, so Pokeguy is on his way to the Elite Four. Not much happening in Victory Road here until he gets to the Elite Four. Still on a really good pace. Really good health for Lorelei. So we'll see how he does when in the Elite Four.
Yeah. As I said, RPG is out of red bar even at 43. He's at 35 out of 141, or 144, sorry.
So I assume he's going to get both mansion candies, so that might help if he wants to try to get red bar off Victor Bell.
Yeah, it'll give him a buffer against Victory Bell if he goes for that option. But if he goes
You
for
still don't
anything
want to get
else, it'll
sleep
make it
powder?
harder. Pokeguy still on a roll here. Unfortunately, his time will always have that asterisk before after it because of just how bad the early game was. Like, he gets a 153 that could have been, well, 149 even, if the early game just wasn't quite how it was. I mean, you could say that about any Pokemon speedrun to some degree. There are always some catches where, if this went better, then my time could have been a minute better, so it's perhaps not fair to take it that way, but there'll always be some part of you that gets annoyed if all the bad luck was clustered in one place. Especially in this kind of scenario where it's a race and you don't have the chance to reset for it.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised at this point if Pokeguy deposits Pidgey at the Elite Four.
I guess that is an option, isn't it? And yeah, mansion candies for RPG. There was probably no doubt about that. But hopefully he does not forget the secret key. I'm unsure whether it will ever happen in this tournament, but I hope not. Or perhaps some part of me hopes that it will, but most of me hopes that it won't. It would be sad if it was RPG who was the first one to do it. It would be more entertaining if it did happen to a top runner in a race against a slightly worse runner, and made the race a bit more interesting.
And he gets the secret key.
Oh well, yep. Pokeguy still thundering along, and RPG has no real problems besides his lack of red bar. Okay, he's off to Cinnabar first. It's not a problem, but I suppose it will guarantee that his Ice Beam range on the Victory Bell, since otherwise it would not be guaranteed at 9 dB. Or, no, I think it is 9 dB exactly where it's first guaranteed, and 8 for the Vileplume or something like that. It's been just so long since I ever thought of anything without a manipulated Nidoran that I don't remember that kind of detail, but in any case, there's no problem with doing Plane first. So, moment of truth number 1. Will Pokeguy deposit the Pidgey? Or the Spearow, rather. There goes the Squirtle.
No, he's
There goes
keeping the
Paris.
Spearow.
Okay. So we're not doing full YOLO Elite Four. But how YOLO will he go?
No need to save before Lorelei with Pidgey, or with Spearow, excuse me. This fight is free.
Yep. 1 in 256 chance of it going Ori, and it isn't on your side either. The one enemy Gen 1 miss in the game... Oh no, this is probably the second most important enemy Gen 1 miss in the game. First would be Wheezing, but this would be the second one. And yeah, chat also points out that Pokeguy is not going as fast as he could because he didn't fly to slot 1. Which saves a tiny amount of time if you menu well. Kind of like cutting the bushes. But perhaps even more cutthroat. Obviously gets through Lorelei with no problem. This isn't the kind of run where you'd expect Lorelei to Gen 1 miss the Spearow.
Not at this point. The game seems to be giving him back all of the luck that he lost early in the run.
Yeah.
7:58 Lorelei segment.
RPG with the expected case of X-Hacking on Bruno, where Growlithe uses agility and he has to sit for a second agility and Earthquake instead of Horn Drill. But the rest goes perfectly fine.
The timers are desynced because RPG had to reset because he died to a critical on the first rival fight. So he reset his timer. However, Pokeguy's timer is the correct time for the race.
Yeah, RPG is, well, at one point he was on PB pace for this reset run, which would still count as PP for him, just obviously his race time is 3 or 4 minutes higher. But I think perhaps losing Red Bar might have made that a bit difficult now. He's still ahead for now of his PB, at least according to his splits, so that's good for him at least. Yeah, Pokeguy threw Bruno just fine. I think it was Harden or X-Defend. At this point he's not going to save, so it's just how much he heals, which is the only variable. And he goes for the Super Potion before Agatha in this case.
A heal, but no save.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think saving was in the cards at this point, but
He has a large enough lead that even if he dies in the Elite Four, he can still probably pull the race out pretty handily.
Yeah. Okay, so we got turn 1 Confuse Ray, which could be good, could be really bad. It's a lot of deviation when that happens. Well, Golbat, this is not a kill, ever, unless you
He hurt himself in confusion, he got hazed.
Yeah. Haze isn't so bad. Apart from... I think he's Speed Tide of Haunter, is what I read. So this could go really good or really bad. And he's exactly dead. Never mind. So lost the Speed Tide of Haunter and goodbye, good pace. No, doesn't... Yeah, okay, so he's too low on X items. He's still fine to win the race. Unfortunately, his time has kind of just gone down the toilet. Can still sub 2 though.
Luckily, because he did do all the shopping earlier in the run, he does have a lot of extra money left over at this point, so he can go back and purchase the X items that he needs to finish the run.
Yeah, doesn't have to go out of his way to make any more money. Didn't buy any full restores before that first trip. Oh, he seems to be unsure of something. He might have problems with PP, but we'll see if he makes it work with just 1 PP item. No. Does he have 0 PP items left? That's what I'm curious about.
He should have 1 left, I believe. He should have 1 elixir.
He elixir
but he has...
before Agatha, and I think that might have been his last one. Oh shit! Okay, apparently he is watching the stream, sorry. My mistake on that, swear. Sorry, this is meant to be a PG-13 stream. But yeah, just a slip there. My mistake, so yeah, he's apparently just realised on what we said that he might have issues with PP. and hesitating a little bit, decides to go for the X accuracy in the end. Decides to go for another X accuracy. Okay, I think he might just be dying here to get some PP items. Winning against the Elite Four with no PP items whatsoever is probably a bit of a stretch. So he stalls with his extra X accuracies until Dugong finally decides to kill him, and then the Sparrow death is pretty much guaranteed. So now I believe he will go and pick up a PP item from somewhere. He's got a couple of options. He's thinking about it and decides to go for Pokemon Tower. Hopefully he goes and picks up a Repel first, though. Oh no, never mind, he's not going for Pokemon Tower, my bad. He's going for the Maxi for north of Lavender, so he doesn't need a Repel. But I think he also has an Elixir left in Pokemon Tower if he went that way. Goes to Fuchsia as well. Not sure what's going on here. Might want a Rare Candy? Or is there something else around here? Oh, I see. He wants the Max Elixir from the bottom of Cycling Road. So then he'll have 2 PP items and he'll be absolutely fine. So a bit unconventional, but we'll still have at least a small lead up over RPG. This has probably roughly cut his lead in half. But considering how big the lead was to begin with, cutting it in half isn't necessarily going to mean anything. He apparently doesn't have that much of a clue of where the Max Elixir is, but finds it eventually. And back off to Elite Four, so he's still got about a maybe 8-minute lead, or maybe 10-minute lead over RPG. Should be comfortable here. But it's not secure if he dies anymore, let's just put it that way. He needs to play properly now. And perhaps save once or twice. He's given up his buffer. Or at least a significant amount of his buffer. And he's given up his shot at a good race time. In fact, it probably won't be sub 2 now, so he'll definitely have to be hoping for a good time in one of his next 2 races, and perhaps play it a little more sanely.
I guess he figured this was his best buffer that he was going to have of his 3 matches.
Yeah.
So he might as well try to get the lowest time possible. Whereas he might have to play it a little safer in the next 2.
Yeah, he's got 2 more games in the group stage against Divine 13 and Crush Squid. Now, I think Crush Squid is actually another unseeded player. Because coming into this tournament, there were 6 unseeded players. RPG was one of them, and I'm not sure, but I think Crush Squid actually might be another. That or he has a PB above 2 hours. Not sure which one of that it is. Okay, yeah, he's actually another unseeded player, so we don't know what to expect from that. But perhaps Pokeguy will have another chance at going for a really good time. Without too much fear of losing the race. But that comes down to whenever that match actually happens. It might not be the next match anyway. Because he might play Divine first, and know which point in the group, or know where he is in terms of group standings and what he needs to do. Now he's of course doing the Elite Four at full health now, so Lorelei and Bruno are complete non-threats. And Agatha is mostly not a threat, especially considering he's got extra levels for speed. But there's still the chance that Agatha trolls, because Agatha can always troll. I don't know if anyone will try to use Squirtorito in this tournament. I would have my doubts, honestly. But it would be cool to see, I agree. Someone has already kind of tried to do Nidoran female. So if you're just tuning in, Pokeguy had a really rough start, then had absolutely godly luck at execution for about an hour, reached the Elite Four with perhaps the slightest chance to get race world record and the best time in the tournament, but then Agatha said no, and now he's just completing the Elite Four with backup PP items and backup strats in general. And yeah, so as we were saying earlier about the playoffs, the bracket seeding will be first by what position you finish in your group, and then by the times you get. Now, Pokeguy had a chance of getting a really good time here and perhaps solidifying a good seeding, but now he's just going to get a kind of average time for a race, or probably below average, because probably a bit below average considering the standards of runners around his level. And he still has to play two more players, unseeded Crush Squids and Divine 13, who is somewhere around 14 seed, 15 seed. Yeah, he's 15 seed, which is not a gimme, especially if he decides to play like this again. You probably doubt that he will, but not every player knows how to play races well or wants to play races properly, so can't say that one's over until it actually happens. And Lance decides to rub it in a bit. Pulls out the critical, and we're going back a bit more.
He did save before Lance, though, just to keep it from being any more of a train wreck Elite Four than it already was. So that's good.
Yeah, it was pretty much already guaranteed to not be a good time to finish over sub 2 and at this over 2 hours, and at this point, just get it over with.
And a crit again.
Yeah, this is going to make RPG's run look a bit better. And I'll confirm from RPG's own stream that he is still on PB pace despite losing that pretty much a solid minute from not getting red bar. It's still alive for him if he doesn't die anymore. So that would be a good bonus, even a new PB. Even if he does end up losing the race despite Pokeguy's travails here.
Based on what Pokeguy says in chat, this looks like it's another crit. No, just not quite red bar, okay.
Not anywhere close to red bar. I think this is just enter rival and pray for crit wing attack at this point.
I don't think there was any range where that attack can get you into red bar from full health.
Not at level 55, no.
You're either not getting red bar or you're getting critical. Those are your options.
He's also miscounted his blizzards. So this will be a free shot on Dragonite with Thunderbolt. Unless he's going to Elixir mid-fight, which I guess he could. I
He
think he
doesn't
can.
have any elixirs. He only has the max ether.
Oh,
He
did
used
he
the
use Max
elixir
Elixir
before-
first?
He used the max elixir before Bruno.
Okay, so free shot Dragonite, just to make this look a little worse. Thinks about going for a YOLO drill, decides that's not a great idea. Now Dragonite's faster. Gen 1 misses Thunderbolt. Jeez.
Wow.
Misses the free shot range on Dragonite. I didn't know if it was the range or not, but I guess it is. But does not get the full restore, so...
The 3-shot is a range if he uses barrier every turn. Which he did.
Barrier shouldn't be doing anything, and Agility shouldn't be doing anything either. None of them should give you badge boosts, so I don't know. But yeah, it does not save the full rival, I don't think. But at this health, it would take a crit sky attack.
I don't believe he needs to XP.
He charged the sky attack! So he has to heal to take himself out of non-crit range. That's a start. And... no, okay. I thought sky attack did a little less than that, but... he's in red bar. Okay, so he's safe. That looks a little sketchy. I didn't think sky attack did quite that much, but... in the end... gets put into red bar, and it's over.
Just needs to press A now.
That was very close to another try at Lance. We'll just say that much.
He also is not going to beat, he's not going to beat my time either.
Oh, he's fallen that far. Just by one F.
Just so everyone can understand just how bad things can go.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to insult how bad your time was or anything, because
no,
I'm
it
sure
was bad.
improve
You're
your
fine.
other two. I'm sure you're improving your other two races, at least if the game lets you.
That would be nice.
Get a sub 2 hopefully, but we'll see. That's the end. 203 something, or maybe even 204, but no, probably 203 something. We'll now take a quick look at the SRL chat, where pokeguy will be probably dot dunning within the next minute, so you can get the official race time for him. Let's see just where in the seating he'll fall. I mean, at this point, there's pretty much only one place he can fall, which is between Loaf of Bread's time and Elminster's time, but just exactly what his final race time will be. And in fact, yeah, he's going to be just a tiny bit behind Loaf, I think. Yeah, okay. We have a dot done from pokeguy with a final race time of 2 hours, 4 minutes and 1 second.
Congrats to pokeguy on that race.
And an in-game time of 1:56. Ladies and gentlemen, Pokemon speedrunning. Get sub 204 on his splits, but his splits are not what matter here.
So I do believe we'll be having pokeguy in here in just a moment.
Yeah, he'll probably want to come in and chat. Well, hopefully he'll want to come in and chat. RPG is actually already in the waiting room himself, so we'll probably get both of them eventually. But yeah, RPG is not running a manipulated Nidoran for the record. He's on Super Game Boy 2, which means that he does not have manipulation, but he actually got a really good Nidoran. Yeah, congratulations on Pokeguy's win. However, gut-wrenching that Elite Four death must have felt. Yeah, if Pokeguy does want to come and talk, he should join the waiting room in the Discord and we'll get him in as soon as we see him. If not, then commiserations on what happened, but I suppose also congratulations on winning the race, for what it's worth. Okay, so now we can focus on RPG, finishing up the Elite Four, and hopefully getting a new personal best. As of Giovanni, he was 40 seconds ahead of his splits. And yes, I'm Devon Stew, I'm from New Zealand, and my co-commentator is Loaf of Bread. And we're going to be getting a Pokeguy soon, hopefully, according to what he said in the chat.
All right. So I will actually let you go ahead and speak with Pokeguy. I do have to go ahead and go.
Okay.
But congratulations to Pokeguy, and hopefully RPG will go ahead and get a PB here. I appreciate it, and you guys take care.
Good commentating with you. Hopefully see you again later.
Absolutely, thank you.
So as soon as Pokeguy joins the waiting room, we'll have him in and have a little discussion about how things went. But for now, we're just going to deal with RPG's Elite Four, where I think he must have gotten hazed, so just had my attention momentarily off. But he swapped out and now he's just setting up again. And Pokeguy is in the waiting room, so I'll go ahead and drag him in and we can have a quick chat about how his run went. Okay, hello Pokeguy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I guess we kind of can guess what your thoughts might be, but do you want to say anyway how you think that run went?
Well, the Koga split was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a really big variation between the good and the bad, and just, I guess there was a very long run of good in the middle there, but then when it was bad, it was really bad. Sad to say.
Yeah. For some reason, when I got IGT on Paris, I thought, I don't know what I was thinking, decided to heal, and then again, that didn't really make sense, but whatever.
Yeah. Just momentary lapse of judgment, because that's normally the point where you just hit AB start select. Like, it's understandable.
And then on the, I decided to go for Silph Red Bar because I got a literally perfect setup and do it, and like the first 3 people said, so I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
That ended up going perfect.
I mean, yeah, at that point we figured you were just going to be playing for a really good time, because
So yeah,
of the lack of risk.
Yeah, after that point, I decided not to see if I can get like a 153, which I almost did with a 38 bridge. Which... yeah. It would have been kind of sad in the end if you had gotten a really good time with that huge asterisk of 38 bridge around it. Yeah.
But I mean, like, why not take that kind of time if you can get it at the same time? And you've still got 2 more chances, of course, to set a good time in the group stage before we get to the seeding.
Yeah, I'm probably not gonna play like that.
You have another unseeded opponent. As to how good he will be compared to RPG, I have no idea, but
Pretty sure he has a sub.
yeah. Crush Squid, I'm not entirely sure of his time. He doesn't have any signs on speedrun.com, but yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to die to Agatha. And
Yeah, Agatha being Agatha, apparently.
really
So-
just needed one more.
Couple more pieces of good luck and you're definitely in there. It's sad to see how it had to end with Lance being Lance, but in the end, the win is secured and we can try again for another good race time. Okay, so Crush has apparently got a 158, so I'm guessing it's just the website doesn't have his time registered yet. In any case, RPG is on to the final fight, with the chance to PB possibly still alive? I think his splits might not be using the updated RTA timing. So it might still be there, even though he officially won't be subbing 209.54. But if his final split is at the end of Gary, then that's a PB. He's just going to sweep through with one drill, so there's that. GG to RPG finishing up with just over 210. That's the final time, it would appear. For now, he will probably slide into having the 5th best time after Pokeguy's time is inserted as number 4. So ahead of Elminster for the time being. Not a bad showing for your first race. Granted, he won't have the W next to his name, but he's still got 2 more chances at that. And yeah, coming up tonight in about 3 hours time we have another race, which is actually, again, from this group. It's the other 2 players, Crush Squids against Divine13. That will be on this same channel, twitch.tv/speedgaming2. So check that out and see who can take first place in the group for now. See who will be the challenger to Pokeguy. But RPG finishes up. He stops his timer a little early. But possibly just doesn't load a new timing. In any case, we can work out what his real time was and count that. I forgot about his resetting his timer, so he'll actually slot in behind Elminster in 5th or 6th place. Yeah, not too bad of a showing from him though. But yeah, we'll pretty much be coming to the end of the stream now. I'll just quickly inquire if RPG wants to talk. But other than that, this is the end of the race. And RPG has given us a yes, so drag him into commentary. Okay, welcome RPG.
Yeah, how's it going?
How do you think that went for you?
It went okay. I mean, right off the bat, the Bulbasaur defeating my Squirtle and feigning there and resetting was rough. And then the Misty Bubble Beam crit was really unfortunate.
Race-wise,
Okay.
yeah, welcome RPG. So hot, but individually after the reset, that seemed like it went at least okay. How do you think you were?
Yeah, the Bulbasaur fight was excellent there, and then everything kind of. I mean, I got a lot of encounters in Mount Moon too. I had like 8 Zubats and like 3 Geodudes or something.
Yeah.
That was kind of unfortunate too, but the Paris just like came right in, so. Like overall, I'm happy with how I played it. Didn't save it anywhere or anything like that. And it's how I like to play. So
you've put up a respectable showing in your first race, at least, and you got a couple more to do.
Yeah, and it was a pretty close race too, because I guess he died to Agatha or something like that.
Yeah, he had a really rough Elite Four.
Yeah.
After, I mean, you had that big time loss at the start, but then he started having some time losses of his own to balance it out, and then really got on a roll from pretty much Misty to the Elite Four, and then died to the Elite Four and dropped a lot of time there. But
yeah,
it was.
I mean, sub 210's not a bad race time, so I'm overall happy. But
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, just to make sure that you. One thing is to make sure that you're using the right timing for the next 2 races, though. Just because we're in timing once you're done with the Hall of Fame now.
Once you're done Hall of Fame, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, otherwise that went perfectly fine.
Okay, I'll remember that. And thanks for having me, and thanks for watching, everyone. And we'll have more exciting races. So.
Yep. As I was saying, the second race from this group with the other 2 runners, that's coming up in about just a bit more than 2.5 hours on the same channel. So go and do whatever and come back, or just stick around.
Yeah, stick around if you want and check out that match. It'll be exciting. So.
I'm sure there are other tournament races, if not from this tournament, going on in the meantime. So check out the schedule for all those, and make sure to follow both the runners as well. They're at RPGodfather 420 and at pokeguy84 on Twitch.
Yeah, Pokeguy's a pretty good Pokemon speedrunner. Does more than just Pokemon Red, like Pokemon Gold as well, I'm pretty sure. And
yeah. And you do a lot more than just Pokemon, or
yeah.
mostly not Pokemon, of course. So yeah.
I mean, I used to do Pokemon back in like 2012, I think, was more when I was into speedrunning it. But
yeah.
Getting back into it, I could definitely beat my PB, which is like a 202 56.
Oh yeah.
I've been using splits since I picked it back up, so I didn't really. It's kind of a fake PB.
Yeah, we're kind of curious about that because you were ahead of the splits you're using the whole time.
Yeah.
So
I made like splits for when I've been coming back to it, so just to make it even. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll be racing again, so hopefully better luck next time. You know.
Yep. Better luck next time. Have fun with your remaining matches, and yeah, hope to see everyone again later. Should be hopefully doing more commentary, but for now that's it. Come back at 11 Eastern.
Rolling out.